Welcome everybody to the Culture Shock Podcast, episode 1. This is going to be not a weekly podcast, but it's going to be a occasional podcast. We're just going to talk about a main topic, something that we want to talk about. We got a nice group here. We got Jonesy with us. Say hi,
Yo.
Jonesy. Yeah, there we go. And we got 2 members of the What the Fuckcast podcast.
Technically 3.
Oh, well, yeah, because Jonesy's part of it too. But we got Akuza.
What's up?
And we got the host of the What the Fuckcast, P-Junk.
Howdy doody.
Yep. Okay. Because I wanted to talk, because I've been getting my throat shammed, like, just kept on getting thrown into my mouth, like this stupid Milo Pony shit, because of Jonesy. Always talking about it in the Arc of Wrestling chat. I needed to, sit down. I needed to get some, hear some other people's thoughts about it, why they like it, why they hate it. That's why I asked you on here, P-Junk, because Jonesy said that you had some mixed opinions on it.
It's not so much that he has mixed opinions on the show, it's just that he's not really a fan of the fan base.
Yeah, I like the show. I don't like a lot of other people who do like the show.
Oh, okay. So you don't like the brony movement.
Yeah, that's completely stupid.
Okay. I just finished watching episode 5, and as some people may know, I never watched cartoons as a kid.
Right.
I watched the Flintstones or Jetsons like that, but most of the time it was, just regular sitcoms that I watched. And so recently I've been going about watching cartoons, to regain my childhood that I'm probably never going to get back. And one of these shows is My Little Pony, because Jonesy cannot stop talking about it.
What a faggot.
I know. For the longest time, he had a picture of, like, a Christmas reindeer and, like, someone who looked exactly like P-Junk, fucking it
Indeed.
from behind.
No, that was really me, didn't I tell you? That's just how I spend my Christmas now.
Just fucking inanimate objects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? With, like,
who
vague
doesn't?
pony shapes to them.
Who doesn't now these days with all that technology?
I just love the picture. I just put it up.
What did it say under it? Pony time?
Bronies, I think it said.
Bronies? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a macro at the top of the image.
Yeah.
Caption.
So, I don't know. How should we start this? Of course, My Little Pony is obviously not for men of the age of 20.
Well, about that. Like the Lauren Faust, the person who
Faust.
created Lauren Faust. How do you
However the hell you say
I'm
her.
pretty sure it's Faust.
I think it's Faust.
But anyway.
I'm just gonna say Lauren basically said it was like she intended the show to be like watch for kids and their family. So I mean, sure. I mean, they're kids are like the primary demographic, but that's not to say like people who are older or outside of the demographic can enjoy it too.
Right.
I could totally see this show with all the old references to old sitcoms and old forms of media. I could totally see it being a family show, but you can obviously see that the imagery of the entire show, you won't see. Well, nowadays you'll probably see a 20-year-old man walk into a Toys R Us and pick up My Little Pony dolls, but I'm pretty sure that the imagery of that entire show was meant for a little girl of the age of 10.
Well, here's the deal. There's there's all these little, what would you call them, these roles that you expect people to fill in different demographics. And I think our society here is sort of we're moving forward where we're trying to break down those roles so that people can just be free to enjoy whatever the hell they want, and we won't really judge them for it as long as it's not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
So, you can judge all you want. Someone trying to buy pony toys or some shit. Honestly, I don't care if that's their thing. I mean, we all have our own weird little hobbies that other people aren't going to care for. It shouldn't really matter what the hell's in our pants or how long we've been on this earth. Just whatever the hell you care for, feel free to do that. Just the only time it bugs
TLDR,
me,
it's 2012.
yeah, it's 2012. Come on. Okay.
Oh, man.
No need to. I mean, not to say that there's anything wrong with fitting the role that people expect. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a macho man, but there's nothing wrong with being a girly man either. Because girly and manly, that doesn't really mean much anymore, or at least we're trying to make it mean less. A lot of people are, but the only time it becomes a problem is when you have people who buy these pony toys just to show them off to everyone else, even if they don't normally collect toys or anything. That's when it's kind of stupid.
I could understand what you're saying, but you say that we're trying to get rid of this, criticism towards one another. I just think...
I wouldn't. You can't. I wouldn't really say criticism towards each other. It's just some of the unnecessary bullcrap we say about each other over the most inane things.
Yeah. But
I don't think there's any reason an adult shouldn't be able to enjoy a cartoon.
I'm not sure if that's the main reason of the brony movement.
I'm
pretty sure it's just because of people thinking this is a good show, or it's just the internet being as stupid as it's always been.
Well, if people think it's a good show, that's totally their right.
Yeah, it's totally their opinion.
Yeah.
Exactly, and
People will think it's shit, people will think it's good, and people won't care at all.
Yeah.
Well, if I can go into... I think part of the reason people... I'd say the show is overblown. It's good, but doesn't deserve a lot of the attention it gets. But I think the reason a lot of people go crazy for it is, like I said, it goes against that whole stereotype of what a guy should be. And also, the specific franchise, My Little Pony, is something that a lot of us older guys are very familiar with as, like, that thing throughout our childhoods that just represented exactly why, like girly stuff was so shitty. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't that... It's not that, like, things that are girly are inherently bad. It's just that there were things like the My Little Pony franchise that made it seem that way. Yeah. And we carried that with us. And then finally something came out with it under that same name that didn't suck. And we were like, wow, this is... It's like satisfying in a way. Like like a type of closure. To just know that something that you thought had no potential at all as a kid actually turned out to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think you make some excellent points. I could probably, have a different opinion,
right?
About we shouldn't be watching these shows. They're for kids, made for kids, because of everything that the show looks like. We could just go on for hours and hours, and we want to keep it at least at an hour show. So we're here to review My Little Pony.
Yeah, but I like to kind of go off on what P-Junk said. Like, I do agree that the show kind of got a little too much attention. I mean, it's a good show. But it's not like attention. I wouldn't call it, oh my gosh, the best thing ever, but, like, basically...
The fact that
like, No, just let me finish.
Okay.
Like, when I first got into the show last February, it was a breath of fresh air. It was something different, something new. I mean, it wasn't that cynical. I mean, it was a lighthearted show that actually, legitimately had me smiling, like, for 22 minutes.
Okay.
Like, and honestly, and I think another reason that, there's so much attention paid to it is that, like, if one were to look at the cartoons out there, like, they're rather mediocre, with the exception of a few shows.
Yeah.
P-Junk, wouldn't you agree about that?
Oh, yeah, totally. Cartoons these days kind of suck, except for a few. So when something good does come out, people will go a little overboard on it. Not only just out of the fact that there's nothing else to watch, but also because they want to kind of give people the idea, yeah, this is what we fucking want. Please make more of this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
So you
I would
were
agree with
saying about reviewing, Greg?
Yeah, we need to go down and review My Little Pony.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure all over YouTube there's countless reviews of My Little Pony, but
Teams
Some
Yeah,
good,
that's
some bad.
some good, some bad, and we're just gonna try to keep this decent.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Everyone's
Now you're gonna
creative
help me.
thing.
You're gonna have to help me with the names because usually it takes me.
I did my best, but I don't think I got everything.
Yeah, when Jonesy and I did this podcast, I accidentally deleted, which I think was good because that was a terrible podcast. I could not remember majority of the names, and I literally just finished watching the show.
Yeah, I
Now-
got you covered in names, bro.
That's why I wanted you on, Akuza.
Yeah, you're kind of
I could
backup.
tell you the names too. It's not hard to remember.
Yeah,
They're like-
that's why I kind of wanted you, P-Junk, as well.
I know most of the names.
But P-Junk, do you know the background ponies?
Some,
Ooh.
yeah. I pay attention to some stuff, yeah. So,
Okay. First off, I've watched the first 5 episodes. I
Right.
watched episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I watched the cliffhanger, and I could almost remember like everything out of episode 3, and I just finished watching episode 4 and 5. First off, am I gonna continue watching the show? That's kind of hard to say. Probably give me like 3 weeks, and if I have that pony craving, that
Craving.
that kind of like twitch in the back of your eye, you're like, you know what? I feel like I need to see some color. And then I go on YouTube and I watch some more pony, but I bet you that's not gonna happen. I grew up watching Godfather and Scarface,
Right.
which my parents were stupid to let me watch at like the age of 7.
Yeah, but even then, like, there's people who are like watch some of the most screwed up things ever, and they're into the show like so much because they're like, I like this. It's such a good change of pace for me and stuff. And and for some reason, I really like this.
I'm majoring in screenwriting right now.
Yeah.
At this moment.
didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm screenwriting and directing, honestly.
Cool.
And one thing that shocks me is to find 600 pages worth of fan fiction on the internet, and just because of my curiosity, I decided to skim through them. Some of them,
You poor soul.
I know, some
Yeah.
of them end up being like grand adventures that could easily be turned into like big motion pictures for this small TV series.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them
Yeah.
are kind of creepy. Some of them
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
made me feel like I need to take a shower after this.
And some of them are trying way too hard to be creepy.
Yeah.
And some just
Cupcakes.
suck.
Now,
Rainbow Factory.
now,
I don't think Rainbow Factory was as bad as Cupcakes.
But we're not here to talk about that anyway.
both of them sound super, like, just the names are kind of like
They're misleading.
misleading off the bat.
Very misleading.
So, usually a movie can range from like 3 to like 500 pages worth of script. From I'm currently writing one right now about a dude who's escaping prison and he has to catch the serial killer before he kills his wife.
Cool.
Yeah, and the fact that I look at these and they're pretty much, you could consider them novels.
Mm-hmm.
Even has me thinking, why aren't these people in the film industry right now writing these grand adventures, but they would rather just sit on their computer and type a fan fiction that they're probably never going to get money for.
And I can tell you,
Well-
I mean, or you want to go first, Jonesy?
Yeah. Well, basically,
Or
fanfic
you can
writers,
say-
they basically do it as a hobby. I mean, I've seen quite a few fic writers in the My Little Pony community actually are going into novel writing, and they have written a few fics before them, and then they were actually quite decent.
Okay.
Mhm. And then
Some fan fictions are actually good. I know of one that's actually really pretty good.
Okay.
So the thing is, even like despite that, it's sort of like, why would people spend their time on this cartoon doing that when they could spend that time writing something different? I mean, part of that is, just legitimate, like they have a particular itch to just write about the pony, something inspired them from it. And, it's just they write whatever they want, and that's just what they happen to want to write. But, there's also like I said, there's the whole brony community, which is sort of, it's getting known as a big community, and the people within that community really like to support each other no matter what, really, just like on whatever they do. So
I wouldn't say support each other on everything, but you're kind of right.
So what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you can, you could be writing hundreds of pages of something that, might never go anywhere. At the very least, if you write something about ponies, there's a good chance that those pages will receive a lot of praise from the community. And some people, they just kind of want a bit of a circle jerk. They just sort of want to get that out of it, to write something they know will pretty much be received well, even if it's not the greatest thing they've ever written.
Yeah.
Basically,
pretty much see when you go on DeviantArt.
Well, actually, P-Jung, like, I mean, if it's bad, I mean, they'll tear you apart. They will tear you apart.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it happen multiple times. They will tear you apart.
That's interesting. I'd like to see more of that, actually, because that would make the bronies seem more normal, human to me. Because, I mean, what I usually see, I guess at least from, like, the forum thread or whatever, is it seems like you'll just post... I mean, I get people have their own taste, their own standards, but it just seems like all I ever see is people posting other fan work, and, like, every time I see any piece of fan work, it seems to get nothing but praise, unless it's from someone who isn't a brony. And then, like, all the bronies will come defend that person from the non-brony.
Well, basically, about the thread, I mean, they're not going to post crap in the thread. I mean, that's all I gotta say.
Not to be sorry, I'd argue that they have, and they just don't see it as crap. Like, that's what I mean. I feel like
in other people's eyes, they will see it as crap, but in the diehard fans, they probably wouldn't see it.
Like, I just sort of feel like maybe sometimes it seems too easy for something to be considered good just because you add some ponies to it.
Well, yeah,
like, people aren't nearly as critical as they could be, just because they're happy to see something else with ponies.
Yeah. So I'd say we just start this review. We've got down the basics of what the thing is going to be. Now, from what I can remember, because I watched the first 3 episodes about... What was it, Jonesy? About a month now already?
Like a week or two? I don't know.
I don't know. Something like
Internet
that.
time.
So from what I can remember, here's me trying to describe the story. Now, I know I'm probably going to get so many things wrong, Akuza.
But that's
we'll
what we're
correct
here
them for you.
And you'll just correct me and just... Yeah, I know you're going to tear me apart.
Not really.
So... What I can
Oh God! You don't know how a cartoon went. How dare you?
You heretic!
Because I tried when I was I tried watching Invaders. Some shows like Invader Zim and Animaniacs, I was able to describe people what it's about. Like shows like SpongeBob.
Oh, so you just mean the overall premise of...
Yeah, like,
okay.
or kind of like the more of the background story. So I guess like what I could describe as the background story for My Little Pony is, so there's 2 main ponies. There's Celestia, if I got that right. And
Yes,
then
she's one of the princesses.
And then there's the dark one.
Luna.
Correct. So they kept balance with the sun and the moon, but all the ponies would go to sleep during the nighttime. So Luna got pissed and so decided to make the entire world night. But Celestia, took her down and had control over the sun and the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, kind of. Basically, basically the whole story was Luna and Celestia rose the sun and moon in harmony in Equestria. But however, due to the ponies being at sleep at night, Luna felt unappreciated and wanted to be noticed more.
Okay.
So in order to do this, she basically said, well, if they won't praise me, I'll make them not ignore me.
And then, so that's when she, makes the entire world, or at least the land,
yeah.
dark.
Basically, she turns all of Equestria to night and turns into Nightmare Moon.
Okay.
Which is kind of surprisingly deep, but...
Surprisingly deep for a cartoon that was the first thing that caught me, when I started watching the first episode.
There's a story here.
And they started creating this lore. I'm like, well, fuck.
Now,
I watched the first episode with SpongeBob. They didn't explain shit.
Well, yeah, two different stories, two different worlds.
Well,
yeah.
The interesting thing, I think, to note, though, is the first two episodes of My Little Pony, since they kind of go together as, like, one huge thing, they really don't have a lot to do with the rest of it. It introduces the characters, and yeah, it gives you that lore, but...
That's what I realized, yeah.
Yeah, that lore doesn't really apply to the rest of it. It's just sort of... It's a lot lighter in tone after that.
I think what
they do like to throw big stories in like that.
I think what I liked about the first two episodes is that it gave you that lore for you to enjoy, and you kind of knew what was going on, but it was pretty much, it was Twilight Sparkle. Is that the name of it?
Yep.
It was the entire two episodes, even though it had all that lore behind it and that huge story. It was about her travel into
Ponyville,
and getting her friends. And that's what pretty much the entire show is about. Her and her friends and their adventures. Yeah,
but like basically, her meeting all of her friends in Ponyville was important because essentially, she talked about the return of Nightmare Moon, and had she not found the rest of her friends and the elements of harmony, it would have been Eternal Night. Basically,
that's what
all over again.
That's what confused me after a while. The elements of harmony, what you said, they were physical, like stones, and then they all broke. But then it ended up being they were unneeded. That the elements of harmony were the ponies.
Yeah,
they're represented.
In other words, they
each represented, but our representation isn't the real thing.
As far as this show is concerned,
as far as this show is concerned, but like...
That's the point. It's supposed to be that these people represent what a real friendship is about, so they are the ones who have those elements within them.
So the elements of harmony were actually a bond of friendship.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's really what the whole show is about. Like, once you get past those first two episodes, it's basically a show that's about trying to teach you what friendship is, what it means.
Yeah, I really understood that after watching the next three episodes. And I'm not trying to sound like a douchebag, trying to like nitpick at everything, but I'm a big story guy. That's why I'm in screenwriting. And when I find something wrong with the story, I kind of need to understand it more,
right? To
kind of you know make it all fit in my head. And that's one thing that really caught me off, is like, if the elements of harmony were physical.
Well, maybe they never really were. Maybe they just assumed they were because that's what it seemed like. But no one really actually knew what they were, and then it turned out that it really was just something inside the ponies themselves.
That sounds like a Disney crack, but
well, yeah.
But however, like the thing is about the elements, they need the necklaces in order to use them.
Yeah, so there's still a physical form to it.
Okay, because they also got jewels on them.
Yeah,
those jewels were from the actual stones.
Maybe it's in the event that the stones are destroyed, some new ones will, appear from whoever represents the elements.
Okay.
So maybe that's their real power, is they can create the new set of elements.
Okay, that makes sense. So
But yeah, like you said, there's like a lot of like corny kind of Disney magic involved here, and that's kind of one of the charms of the show is that it does all that stuff like unashamedly. Like a lot of times you see stuff like that, and people are just doing it sort of in like a sarcastic or very tongue in cheek kind of thing. I guess like they're kind of making fun of it, but on this show they still you kind of still get that attitude of like, yeah, this is a really ridiculous magical sugar world, but the way that they're just okay with that is sort of where some of the comedy comes from at times.
okay, I can understand that fully. Another thing is just nitpicking at a couple other things. There aren't any males.
There are.
There are males, but there's not a lot of
few.
them.
It seems like the majority of the population is female, yeah.
But like once you get to season 2, there have been a whole lot more male ponies in the background. I mean, you're probably not going to reach that point, but I just like to point that out.
I think the only male that I saw in the first at least 5 episodes, I saw like 1 or 2 in the background, but the one that actually talked was
Big Mac?
is that Apple Dash's
You mean
brother?
you mean Applejack?
Applejacks.
Apple.
Wait, what?
Just think
We're
of the
not,
cereal.
not on shipping yet. We're not on shipping.
Okay,
It's Rainbow Dash and Applejack.
Applejack. Okay.
Yeah.
Applejack's.
Applejack's brother, yes, that's Big Mac.
Okay,
Yep.
you can see
The-
how unexperienced I am right now.
Totally fine.
It's okay, dude.
Yeah. So, wait, I just want to get them down. There's Twilight Sparkle, Rainbow Dash, Applejack.
Mhm.
There's the pink one.
Pinkie
Pinkie
Pie.
Pie.
Pinkie Pie.
Okay. There's Flutter.
Shy.
Fluttershy.
Shy.
And I honestly do not remember the last one.
Rarity.
Rarity. That's the stuck-up one, right?
The best one.
The best one. Okay, you guys all... Okay, I want to know your favorites. I want to know.
Who wants to go first?
You
To
go
be honest,
first.
I really don't actually have a favorite. I just like saying that.
It's hard to pick a favorite. They all, they're all good to me, but if I had to, I always say Rainbow Dash, because I've always kind of like the tomboyish nature.
I always thought, and it took me a while until we did the podcast, Jonesy. When I first listened to Rainbow Dash, I swear that was, like a little kid speaking it. And then when I realized it wasn't, I kind of got thrown off a little bit.
It's actually really interesting, the voice actress for Rainbow Dash and Applejack, because her speaking voice is actually, like, it sounds like a combination of the two.
Yeah.
And then it's just to do either voice, she just sort of switches over from one side to the other.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Ikusa, who is your favorite?
Oh man, who's my
many.
favorite pony?
Oh, there's so many to pick from.
Can I say
that-
something about Rarity, though? Early on, I didn't understand. Like, it seemed like Rarity had a lot of fans, and I wasn't sure why. But now I understand it's because her character... I guess also the reason I didn't like her at first, her character is one that usually her, like, sort of stereotype that she would fit into isn't a pleasant one. But they finally, like, for My Little Pony, they took that character and they made it someone who's, like, what are the characteristics? That she can, like, hold her own, and she's, I'm sorry, I can't remember what the other term was. But it's they do something different with the character that you don't usually see from someone who's very into fashion and, glamour and all that. And they make her more interesting.
Man, like, ever since I've gotten into the show, my favorite pony's been all over the place. First it was Fluttershy, then it was Applejack. It was Rainbow Dash
Applejack.
for a while.
Applejack has never been my favorite. I think she's usually... Applejack and Pinkie Pie are usually near my least favorite, except Pinkie Pie... She got more interesting when I realized most of her episodes really seem to be the best ones about just, like, growing up. And that's fascinating.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go with.
God, it's like choosing a freaking beer case.
Yeah.
I sit there and I look at everything. I'm like,
You know what?
I can't pick.
You know what? Let's move on. Let's come back to this question. I still gotta.
You can start like writing stuff down and like the pros and cons of everything, and
Yes.
There's like fucking involved here, like fucking Jonesy and Akusa are just gonna blow up trying to figure this out.
I don't know. I can't think of one.
I don't want to hurt any other pony's feelings. I can't do this. I have to do it.
can I just choose them all?
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I was wrong. My favorite pony is Iron Will in the latest episode because
He's not a pony, you jerk.
He's a minotaur.
He's a minotaur.
Everyone always says best pony is someone who isn't a pony. Fucking
Don't
best
say
pony.
just because he was voiced by Mr.
I'll give
Satan.
you that. I'll give you that.
Don't say because he was voiced by Mr. Satan.
Best pony is Tom. Next question.
All right.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
Tom's the
So
rock.
the first 3 episodes dissects into at least 3 characters, 3 or 4.
Okay.
We see more Twilight Sparkle in the 3rd episode.
All right.
Okay,
That's the ticket master.
that's the ticket master. That's her trying to decide.
Wow.
Which 2 tickets to give to her friends so that they can go to the gala.
Yeah, we
Grand Galloping Gala.
we get the small snippets of everybody else's character, but I think it mostly revolved about her. The 4th and 5th episode.
See, the first season entirely is mostly about Twilight.
Yeah. The 4th episode revolved a lot around Applejack.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of her,
Yep.
working like a dog, but she helps everybody else, but she doesn't want help from anybody.
Yeah,
And-
she's an independent pony who don't need no man.
Exactly.
You mean no pony?
No
Pony.
No pony needs no pony.
Yeah, who don't need no pony else.
In the 5th episode, I think revolved more around. You could say it revolved more around Pinkie Pie. I have these written down. I'm trying to remember which one's which. Pinkie Pie but also has Rainbow Dash in it. They focus more around those 2.
Pranking
So
one?
The
it was
pranking
off
one.
the Griffin brush. It was the one with Gilda.
Oh,
the
Gilda.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gilda, that bitch.
Jonesy told me that episode 5, I should have skipped episode 5 to watch more of Pinkie Pie because he said, "What would you
That's
say
not her.
about that,
That's
Jonesy?"
not her best episode.
It's not her best episode,
Mm.
and that they
know.
don't go into much character, like much description.
Oh, yeah,
about
that's
her in
true.
that
Well, if
episode.
you want,
Yeah.
honestly, her best episode of season 1 is Party of One.
Yeah, that you should watch that one. Although that's further in the season.
You're just going to recommend him to watch all the ones where they basically lose it.
you're just gonna recommend me to watch the entire fucking 2 seasons, aren't you?
No,
Yeah,
They end up me
pretty
sitting
much.
here watching all the fucking.
they want you to watch the episodes
Trust
where
me,
basically
the Party of
the ponies
One
go
just
insane.
makes it for the season.
Like, their insecurities get turned up to fucking maximum and they just lose it for a bit. Those are the episodes they're trying to get you to
every
watch.
pony loses it at least once.
Yeah.
Has it been every pony already?
Fluttershy's lost it at the gala. Pinkie Pie lost it.
Oh, well, okay, if you count the
Party
gala.
of One.
Wait, what do you mean lost it? Like just goes.
I mean, like,
ballistic,
they
or-
lose their shit.
Okay, here, let me tell you, the way people talked, this was before I had ever watched the show, the way people talked about the ponies losing it, I actually thought that, like, someone would get hurt or die in this show. I was like, what the hell, the way people talked about it. But, yeah, it's just sort of like I said, you take, like, their main insecurity, and then for that
Crank it
episode...
up 10 times.
Yeah, that insecurity gets taken advantage of to hell, and so the pony kind of just like flips and goes to like completely different personality, or just just plain crazy for a bit before everything gets resolved. And that that just shows you how vulnerable they are. How I don't know, it's weird.
Okay.
I like that they included it though. It shows that this is definitely not your typical show that just little girls are totally going to understand everything that's happening.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to watch one of those lose it episodes.
Mm-hmm. They're
To get
fun.
more understanding of it. But one thing I definitely appreciate from the show are all the references.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's tons.
Even though I'm sitting here, watching an episode and I'm like, if I had a knife, and then they would say something about like Star Wars or something. I'm like, you know what? That was an interesting,
about Star Wars.
fuck you,
Yeah, there's a
man.
hell of a reference to Star Wars, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
season 2.
Season
It's a
2.
big
Is it
reference.
season 2? Right,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you should do that. You should, Greg, you should watch like the first couple episodes of season 2. You'll appreciate something there.
You're just gonna turn me into a fucking brony, are you?
Well, no, you don't have to be a
Was it?
brony.
No,
and
I'm actually
like
going to be
My
very
Little Pony.
disappointed if you turn into someone who would call themselves a brony. Please don't. Please don't.
Ugh.
It's like you don't have to be a brony and like My Little Pony. It's
Do you call yourself anything stupid because you like Star Wars?
What?
Do you call yourself anything stupid because you like Star Wars?
A Star Wars fanatic.
Like, you don't call yourself a fucking Jedi or something. Don't call yourself a brony, even, no matter how
I
much you
can't
like.
be a Jedi. I don't got the Force. If I had the
You can't be a
Force,
pony.
I
You
would
have-
be a fucking Jedi.
I had the Force.
I would, if I had magical powers in my hand, and I was able to manipulate an object and make it float in midair, I would
call yourself a Jedi.
I would call myself a Jedi.
You'd be a huge nerd for it, though, even if you had the powers. Like,
If I had,
you couldn't think of another
He'd
name.
dress up. He'd have the fake lightsaber.
You couldn't just
I
go
would-
with
no.
Wizard or something. You had to go with Jedi. You nerd.
I would dress up as Darth Maul, and I would walk the streets. I don't care. If I had those powers, I would walk the streets with black and red
Hey,
paint on
Darth
me
Maul.
and
Would
fake
you
little
would
horns
you like
on.
to see the trick I can do?
Well, as long as it's Darth Maul, that's okay, because he's awesome.
Now pull my
but I
double
like to point out we're
lightsaber.
kind of getting off topic here.
They're totally getting off topic.
That's so-
But you know, it's just those. You just saw right there. You know that reference that was brought up in one episode took us onto a tangent of reminiscing about the past.
Yeah.
Except for P-Jump, because he never fucking watched Star Wars.
it's just such a pop culture thing that I already know plenty of references anyway. And I've seen
It's not just that. It's okay. We're getting.
Yeah, no, we're
I'll,
not.
I'll yell at you more on the next.
We're not here to
podcast.
yell at
Is there a
Jumping
particular
Up for
reference
Star
though
Wars.
that you're talking about that impressed you, or like something that comes to mind immediately?
Not that I remember right now, but I did go online and I looked up someone's, like,
Mhm.
God, I'm trying to remember the show. I can't remember the show right now. It was an old 50s or 60s sitcom that I used to watch because it was on TV Land. And, they brought it up and, I kind of just had like, oh man, it was like when I was 8 years old and my dad
Are you
was
talking
8
about
years
the thing with the
old.
cherries?
What cherries?
No, that's season 2.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
also
what-
season 2.
I didn't know if
Yeah,
you were
there's an
talking-
I Love Lucy reference in season 2 as well.
I love. It wasn't the I Love Lucy. It was another one. I can't remember.
I can't
right now.
really think of it then.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway,
But yeah, you know that the writing that's put into that entire show is really well thought out, and
Yeah.
they knew where they were going with it. They knew what the moral was going to be at the end of the episode, and so all they really needed to do was make up a story for it.
hmm
And one thing, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is
shoot.
all the episodes end with Twilight Sparkle
For season 1, yes.
For season 1.
writing letters to Celestia.
hmm
That-
And then
that-
season 2, other ponies start writing the letters too.
Okay.
hmm
That's better because if I just
That was a smart choice because you
Yeah.
run out of ideas.
I mean,
if
it's
it was just
basically-
one person.
I mean that's another thing like that I really liked. It was basically when they announced it, I was like, this really opens up the show. I mean,
Yeah.
it really does open up the show.
because it allows
the
the
whole lot
other characters
things.
to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah. But do they explain why they're writing letters, or is it
Yeah.
just kind of
Yes.
thrown in there? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're
it's
perfectly
covered in
good.
an episode in season 2 as well.
There's some TV shows that just bring shit in, and you're like, okay, I guess I could explain it myself.
See, and that's another thing. The people writing this show, they respect the fans. They'll come up with good reasons for things to happen.
Oh, I think the writers know what kind of fan base they have, and they know.
Oh, definitely.
that if they fuck up once, oh, they're over.
They recently had to deal with
Yeah,
something that was arguably a fuck up. So we'll not go into that. I think that's.
I mean, I don't think it was personally, but no. It's a complicated situation. It's just
it's complicated.
Okay. Well, try to in a few words.
Summary?
There's a certain character, a background pony, who the fans they were really into. So they decided to give her a small role in a recent episode, and then people freaked out because they thought I guess people who weren't familiar with like what her origin was, like with the fan base, they sort of interpreted her to be someone like sort of making fun of people with disabilities, and they weren't okay with that, and there was a whole thing that blew up, and it was really stupid, completely unnecessary.
Okay.
Just if you've ever been on Tumblr, that was basically it. People who think they're social justice heroes, and they're not.
Pseudo social activists.
Yeah.
I can
moving on.
I mean, the reason why I want to do this podcast and specifically this is not only make a podcast for the My Little Pony audience to listen to and hear a point, me, someone who never watched cartoons as a kid, talk about the show, but also people who are kind of interested in watching the show, understand what it's about with people not trying to shove it down their throats.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with bronies is the whole shoving things down people's throats.
Yeah, I couldn't, walk an inch in the forums, in the 4-player podcast forums over at 4playerpodcast.com/forums. I couldn't walk an inch without, at least seeing something in the chat box or on the forum, the My Little Pony thread keeps on getting bumped like crazy because you people don't stop fucking posting in it. And I constantly, every time I, jump onto the forums, I always see you guys talking about it. And, I have Jonesy, with the stupid pictures that he constantly posts.
I mean, I wouldn't really say that the forum posts getting bumped constantly is quote unquote forcing it on people.
No, not just me. Just being on 4chan and everywhere else, constantly saying it. It does feel like it
gets tiring.
I
can understand.
And it got to a point where I needed to embrace it, and so I could understand what it was all about because
which isn't like the good way to go into it. That's not, but
like I knew I shouldn't have. I had two choices. I could have gone, straight in and watched the entire season 1 and entire season 2. I could have done it head on, or I could have done it the way I just did it and slowly, creeped up on it. I watched the first couple episodes.
That's pretty much what I did too.
Like
what happened was
you guys.
I saw it on 4chan for a very long time. And it took it was on there for a while before I even realized what it was supposed to be, a My Little Pony thing.
Uh-huh.
Before I knew that, I just saw, okay, this is stupid, a bunch of ponies everywhere, and then the pictures were kind of funny, so I looked into what those were. But then it was the YouTube poops by Dyke Kike that got me to eventually watch the show. That and the little clips uploaded by Cairo Spawn all the time, just little tidbits from the show that were funny out of context.
So it was actually the YouTube poops that
just like you said, there was a lot of exposure to it. Except it wasn't more like, I have to get into this now. It was more like, the more I saw, the more I got interested. So I eventually just decided, all right, I'll give it a shot. I watched, I guess I watched the first 2 episodes first or something. And I just started, all right, I could keep watching this. And eventually I made it all the way through the first season. And I'm still watching now.
All right.
Basically, I think I explained this a few times in the chat box, but unfortunately it got deleted. Rest in peace. Basically, I saw people talking about the show on the forum chat box, and I saw it on another forum that I posted. There's a thread already made. I'm like, okay, what the heck is this? Why is everyone talking about My Little Pony? And they were like, oh, basically, they told me it was a good show. Was actually done by someone who had worked on Cartoon Network prior, Lauren. I'm just going to say Mrs. F. So I don't butcher her name.
She
the woman who has worked on such greats as Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yes.
And Powerpuff Girls is another example of that, of sort of taking a somewhat girly concept and turning it into something that anyone can enjoy. But
And also,
yeah.
Codename Kids Next Door.
did she work on that?
No.
Really?
From what it looks
No,
like,
she did.
episode
No, she
number
didn't.
P in the
I don't-
OLL.
I don't ever recall seeing that. But getting back to what I was saying, so then I saw Zimmy. So yeah, so I asked, why is everyone talking about this show all of a sudden? Then Zimmy popped up. He's like, you should watch the show. It's actually pretty good. So after a few times of closing and opening the first episode because I couldn't get past the intro.
I actually kind of liked what they did with the intro. It was like I liked that they had little. At first, like they started with the classic "My Little Pony." I was like, "Ooh, I don't know," and then it moved on into like this more, something that
Modern.
would more modern, appeals to more kind of people, a little more energetic. I was like, "All right, this is kind of cool."
You want to find
And I do
something
like-
funny?
And I like that they put that little throwback in to start it off.
I totally did what you did, Akuza,
Yeah.
but I think I went more on a rage than a kind of like I can't do this. I turned it on and I tried going through the first 5 seconds of the damn thing, and I honestly, I forcefully, just stood up on my chair, and I just walked out. I turned on my TV, sat on my bed, and I just watched Top Gear. I'm like, I can't do this shit.
You watched Top Gear?
Yeah, so yeah, basically I closed it and opened it, and I was like, you know what? We're doing this. I'm going to watch the first episode. So I start watching it, and I was like, okay, this isn't bad. I can kind of see why people are so into this. And then, like, when I started meeting the characters, like, okay, I'm really liking the characters, and then at the end of the first episode, which was a cliffhanger, I'm like, okay, let's see season 2. And then when the first
Episode 2.
yeah, so then as soon as like the first song came on, I was like, okay, I think I'm sold. I
Really?
think I'm sold. Yeah.
For me, it didn't even take, like, it took me at least to episode 3 to kind of be like, I guess I can understand it. Like, episode
Right.
1 and 2, I was beating my head. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't fucking understand. God, someone please, like, explain
Yeah.
to me why.
Episode 1 and 2 is kind of weird because it takes itself a little more seriously, I think, during those episodes.
compared
than
to
it
the
does
other episodes, yeah.
during the rest of the season. And I can tell, like, I don't think it's kind of weird. I went through, like, a good portion of the first season.
Mhm.
Like, I'm actually surprised I did end up watching the show. I guess it was more like I was just going through all the episodes. Like, I didn't really care that much for the first 2, but I decided to keep going because, like I said, I saw the YouTube poops and little clips, and I wanted to see how many references and shit I could catch. So, I remember at one point I realized, I don't remember what the hell happened in those first 2 episodes aside from, like, that, giant rainbow fuck they did on Luna at the end. Like, I could not remember.
Is that
like,
what you're calling it now?
wait, come on, what else could you? It was a pretty awesome move. A rainbow has never looked more intense, except maybe the rain boom. But anyway, I couldn't remember.
Oh, yeah, that's
You'll
another
see,
episode.
maybe,
Yeah.
if you watch.
That's another episode. Yeah.
Like, I couldn't remember any of, like, her Twilight meeting the pony. Like, I would see clips from episode 1 and other things, and I would just go, when the hell did this happen? I've been through every episode that exists right now, and I don't remember this. And so I just decided, oh, fuck it, I'll just rewatch the first couple episodes. I was like, oh, okay, that's where everything was. So, overall, probably not the strongest episodes at all, but, I mean, whatever. It still did something interesting. It's just really different from the rest of the show in tone.
Definitely, because the first 2 episodes are more behind lore than, the other episodes are just, moral.
Yeah, and
following.
season 2 actually kind of expands on the lore a little bit more.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like,
they
how
do
much
it a
into
little
it? Like, every
better.
episode kind of explains it, or
Well, not every episode, but
Yeah,
I think
it's more like they throw little tidbits in while they're still making a good episode. It's much better that way. To just, like, let it gradually build up.
Okay, because there should be a purpose to the lore that they give. I can understand, they gave this lore about the elements of harmony and how all of them are supposed to be together and supposed to bring harmony to whatever. But after that, they don't mention anything about it.
They do come back.
It's gone. Well, again, I'm saying this from
it's like some of this is explained in season 2 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I felt like it's just gonna be like this the entire season. They're just not not gonna mention what just happened.
They suddenly had god powers and they're never going to apply those again.
Yeah, a couple things bother me sometimes. Like, Twilight Sparkle is a unicorn. Who is it? Rainbow Dash is a Pegasus.
Yeah.
Is Applejack just like a pony, or does she have the
She's
power?
She's an Earth pony. Like, I mean, honestly, some people could say that the Earth ponies kind of got shafted when it comes to powers, but Applejack is strong as hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, really, she's strong as hell. Like, and Pinkie Pie has some...
Pinkie Pie.
She basically breaks physics. Like, if you watch some of the episodes later on.
Okay. So, I mean, there was like the episode where it was Applejack and she was supposed to collect the apples. It feels like Twilight Sparkle had all the power in the world to just be like, you know what, screw you. I don't care if you don't want my help or not. I'm just going to collect all the apples and just do it for you. And, like, it didn't happen. Like, that's just me nitpicking to the smallest detail, but, like, that, like, she has all the power in the world to, like, just, finish her entire job for her and just be like, that was a cinch.
Well, I think...
she didn't want to
It was basically,
she did.
Yeah, she wanted to respect her friend's integrity. That's like, I mean, you don't really want to try and... It's like, I know the whole lesson was, like, you should know when to ask for help and stuff, but, like, I think she just didn't want to, kind of get on Applejack's bad side
and
by helping
keep in
her when she
mind
did
that, especially during this first season, when you think about it, Twilight Sparkle is kind of a social retard. She's not used to being around other ponies at all and talking with them and having friends. She's just used to being in a library full of books with a little dragon to help her out. So she's learning. Okay. She doesn't want to offend. She's kind of like you. She's kind of bitching out. She doesn't want to she doesn't want to do anything wrong. Want to step out of bounds because she's not used to seeing what would happen if she does.
Okay. I mean, it's like when the stampede happened, she could have easily picked up all the cows and
I don't
think her magic could do that. She could definitely pick a shitload of apples, but I don't know about stopping
she
a whole
can
bunch
pick
of
up
moving.
a really heavy object, which is in another episode. I won't give it away because spoilers, but
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do, yeah.
So
I'm actually not sure.
I mean, it's some of that. It's kind of like that logic has to be. I feel like that logic needs to be consistent. Of course, it's a cartoon.
Yeah, like one of the
it's a cartoon. It's allowed a couple mistakes here.
Yeah,
and
like
there,
Lauren, like Fall Stevens said, we don't really push logic that hard on the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's like
It's logic.
I can nitpick at all the mistakes the Simpsons or or Family Guy or all them have made because they said one thing in an earlier episode and they totally forgot about it, and so they decided to come up with a different outcome this episode.
And it's hard to keep track of all that stuff and at the same time keep writing good episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why people like the show. I think that's a good aspect of it. Does it make me want to continue to watch it? I don't know, because that's not my kind of, show.
Right. That's totally fine.
I'm still open to, is it like, if I would have to answer the question, should people give it a try? There's those people who are wanting to know, I hear so much about the show. Is it something that is watchable? I say, fuck it, give it a try. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even care if you're like the manliest guy in the world. You're not gonna get hurt by it. Just watch it.
Exactly. And you might
Yeah.
learn a little something about yourself by watching it.
You might learn about friendship.
Well, different opinions on that. But yeah, I guess we could call it an episode, guys.
Yeah. So that was
I
good.
think we covered everything about this, about My Little Pony, the first 5. That doesn't, maybe in the near future I'll continue watching this and we'll do another one, and
All right.
maybe my opinions change.
All right.
I also
All right.
I also want to plan on doing an episode with you guys. I want to watch the first episodes of Doug.
Oh my god.
Oh,
and
God.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh,
and-
nostalgia rush.
I don't know if I want to watch Doug.
and Hey
Let's
Arnold.
back on Doug.
And Hey Arnold. So
Hell yes.
so I could prove to you guys how terrible those shows are.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll see about that.
I'm in.
We'll do
see
that.
about
We'll
that.
do that for the next episode. Thank you
All right.
everybody for joining us for the first episode of Culture Shock. I don't know when this episode's going to be up, but I need
Watch
to
it
make
get
a new.
uploaded 2 weeks from now.
Well, I need to make a new YouTube account and such. I'm not putting it on the Arc of
What?
Wrestling.
Ah.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us. We'll see you next time.